We'll talk more about that though, Greg, because I think that's a real thing.
Yeah. By the way, Giannis was just upgraded to questionable.
Of course he was. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Underdog NBA Strategy Show presented by, well, obviously Underdog. And if you're just joining us, stumbling upon this somehow, no idea how you arrived here, welcome. Hopefully everything's all right. But if you're not a part of Underdog yet, if you haven't signed up yet, remember, link in the description and in chat, 100% deposit bonus up to $100. So if you deposit 100, you got 200 right there. If you deposit 50, you got 100. Even if you only have 10, your account's going to show 20. So you want to join along with these pick 'em contests with us. You want to get in some of these daily drafts with us that we're going to do today. Link is in the description and in chat. Get your first match deposit bonus up to $100, 100% matched. I'm Dave Loughran, Lafayette_D, joined by Greg Ehrenberg today, filling in for Neil Orfield. What's going on, brother?
Yeah, Neil, I got the whole medical history of Neil yesterday. So he's dealing with a crown fell off in his tooth or something. He's trying to get it reworked, but yeah, it took him 3 years or something like that before he decided it was time to go to the dentist. So he just had half a tooth for a while decaying in his mouth. And yeah, he's taking care of it today, though.
Good. Jordan, based on what we've talked about with Neil, I would have put money on it that it was a gastrointestinal issue. All right. Anyway,
too many games watching the Timberwolves lose.
What's that?
Too many games watching the Timberwolves lose.
Yeah, that could definitely be the case. Probably again tonight. So Giannis just got upgraded to questionable, huh?
Yeah, which I was doing my odd shopper video this morning, and there were a bunch of unders that projected well for the Bucks. And I had said it then. I'm not touching any of these lines because I think Giannis is going to get upgraded later on in the day. And I just didn't want to have money invested in unders on Bucks players when Giannis might play. I still don't know if Giannis is going to play or not, but I always felt there was a chance that despite the doubtful tag, it was more of a questionable doubtful than anything else. So we do have this uncertainty heading into the slate tonight. But yeah, Giannis is currently questionable. That obviously adds new wrinkles into the mix, changes how we're going to have to look at guys like Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis. So it's an interesting one.
Man, this year, if Giannis is probable, he's out. And if he's doubtful, he's in. How many times has he been probable this year and been out like 5 hours later?
A handful of times. So there's a couple teams. The Bucks do this fairly regularly. The Thunder did a lot in the regular season too. And I think the Thunder was just because they never update their injury reports. So if you had SGA was out and then he was still listed as out for the next game, I usually took that to mean he's not actually out. And that did happen a lot where he would end up just being good to go, but they hadn't updated their injury report from the day before. This was one where the other thing that was weird too was them labeling Giannis as doubtful so far in advance was also kind of bizarre to me for a playoff game. So I'm not totally shocked that he's upgraded to questionable. I'm not sure that means he plays though either.
Right. Yeah, me neither. Clearly they need a win. You're not looking to go down 0-2, but still, even when he was doubtful, they were 6.5 point favorites. All right, here's what we're going to do, Greg. We're going to go get into some pick 'em here. We'll payout multiplier. We'll shoot for 4. If there's a 5th that we really like, we'll do it, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves in this spot. And then we'll do a draft. We'll see where Giannis and the Bucks are going in this draft too, now that he's questionable. That should add an extra wrinkle into this one. Ja Morant, questionable. Tyler Hero, done 4 to 6 weeks. So let's get into this. We'll use the Bet Pro tool as guidance and also just some spots that we really like. But yes, Bet Pro tool has underdog on there. All of the expected, just sort by expected win rate. You're going to find all of the best bets up there. You're the guest of honor here today. Why don't you go first and kick us off with our top prop for the day?
Yeah. So right away, actually, I want to check. Do we have, I just want to see where we have Giannis. All right. We don't have him in right now because I'm going to ignore the Bucks for right now. I'm not going to pay them any mind because there's so much uncertainty there. But one that does project well for us, our top projected bet right now that I do think makes a whole lot of sense for underdog, Gabe Vincent under 9.5 points. He's just an obvious benefactor from the absence of Tyler Hero. And we've got Morant questionable. You mentioned that. We've got Giannis now questionable. Don't know what to make of those games. We know Tyler Hero is out for sure. That should lead to extra playing time for Gabe Vincent. Something else to add to this as well is even though Kyle Lowry is expected to play today, his minutes have also been all over the place because he's dealt with injuries of his own. Even in the game a couple of games ago where he was playing really well, he wasn't able to finish the game because his knee was bothering him. So I think Gabe Vincent is a clear path to upside in minutes, and over 9.5 points looks fairly low.
Yeah, I love it. Actually, matter of fact, I did on my bet video today on Odd Shopper and in Chalkboard. I already threw Gabe Vincent over 2.5 assists in there. I think a lot of the same logic that you use for points, I think, can be applied to the assists here. And I also wouldn't be surprised with Hero off the floor that if Gabe Vincent does do a little bit more ball handling, just to free Butler open to get some good looking shots and opportunities there as well. But yeah, Gabe Vincent over 9.5. I'm going over 6 rebounds on Butler. I threw it in Chalkboard and I had it in the video. This is actually, it was 5.5 on DraftKings. I paid a little bit extra on it. I don't know. You tell me what you think, man. This is just a spot that I really like today. First of all, we have him projected for 7.9. But if you go ahead and you look at this, yeah, he's only had 5 rebounds in each of his last 2 games. He's played 43 minutes in both of them. He averages 6.3 rebounds per 36 on the season. He's going to play more than that today. The Bucks, without Giannis, are a bottom 8 rebounding team. Even with him, though, they still allow the 9th most defensive rebounds, the 10th most offensive rebounds. I don't know. To me, and Butler, if you do go to advanced data on player tracking, last 3 games, so the play-in games, rebound chances, 18, 15, and 13. I just think this turns around. If he's playing as many minutes as he is, I'll take the over on rebounds today, just given this playing time and his history as a rebounder.
He's averaging for the season 5.8 rebounds per game in 33.8 minutes.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know if you've taken note of this in the playoffs. I do not remember teams being this aggressive with players' playing times right off the bat in the first round. And I don't really know that anybody's projecting for it, especially perfectly, because it is really hard. I was talking about it last night on Live Before Lock. Like, who wants to go out and project Donovan Mitchell for 44 minutes? It feels like an uncomfortable projection to give to somebody. But you look at some of the playing times, it's kind of what guys are playing. And maybe this now we're starting to see some of the fruits of all the rest and players not playing back-to-backs in the regular season, where Jimmy Butler was only playing like every other game or something like that at points and times in the regular season this year. And all of a sudden we get into the playoffs and he's able to handle a 44-minute load, which he definitely wouldn't have been able to do in the regular season. So yeah, I think anytime we have overs projected for star type players, they look even better at this point of the year because there is the potential for them to play way more minutes than anybody could otherwise anticipate. So I'm with you. I like Jimmy Butler overs.
Awesome. And you make a great point. Like Kevin Durant's played 44 minutes in both games.
Yeah. And who's projecting that? Because who's comfortable sitting at their computer and being like, you know how many minutes I think Durant plays?
Yeah, the whole game.
Yeah, because if you come up on the wrong side of that, you're going to feel like an idiot. But the other time too, I'm just looking at some of these NBA slates, and I know now I'm talking a little bit more about like DraftKings and FanDuel, but still, it's going to apply when we're doing some of the draft after this for Underdog. Is star players are playing an aggressive amount of minutes. And I'd rather be early to this than late. So I'm just going to go ahead right now and assume these guys continue to play these kind of minutes.
Me too. And it's just crazy with a guy like Durant where he had been out for so long and then he comes back and he's kind of limited now, pedal to the metal. And shout out to Hannah Banana in chat. Mentioned you on the strategy show, the DFS today, but you see, Greg, back-to-back days, she's taken down underdog contests. So, or second on Sunday and last night for 1,500 first place in the $7 dunk. That makes me happy.
Yeah, good stuff. Congrats to Hannah, who I also know Hannah's been killing it with the DK tiers over the course of the playoffs or over the course of the regular season. So yeah, been a good run there and all different ways to play DFS. So yeah, congrats to Hannah.
See if we can get some winners today. All right, so we got Gabe Vincent over points. We got Butler over rebounds. Let's see if we can pull two more. Maybe we like three more. Who knows? Before we do this draft, another spot you want to touch on? Oh, yeah. Actually, how are you approaching the Memphis players today?
No clue. Because it's so tricky because Morant, I consider Morant to be as 50-50 as a player could possibly be. If this was a regular season game, he would not be playing. I'm very confident that Morant would not be playing because he's doing the post-game interview the other day, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but he's asked what his pain rating is on a scale of 1 to 10. He says 10. Like, it's nearly unbearable the amount of pain's in his hand. So it's a couple of things here. Number one, is Morant going to play or not? Not sure. Point two, if he plays, how many minutes could he handle and how effective is he going to be? So it's really hard for me to really put too much into any Memphis players until we get more information. So for now, I'm going to continue to look at some other spots. And luckily, we do have value in other spots that I think sticks out, like Austin Reeves, who's been great as of late for the Los Angeles Lakers. We have him projected for a 5.1 assist. His over-under on Underdog is 4 flat. And another guy, too, game one of the series against Memphis, we got 31 minutes out of Austin Reeves. That game was also somewhat one-sided. The starters didn't have to finish the game. The Lakers win by 16. And if you look at the numbers for Austin Reeves over the last month, so this covers 13 games. The last month Austin Reeves has played, he averaged 5.7 assists per game over that time frame. And I feel pretty confident that he's locked into a 30-plus minute role for the Lakers. That 4 assist prop is pretty low over on Underdog. I like the over.
Okay, we'll go over there. I like that too. He's played really great basketball.
Yeah.
I'm going to go down the board a little bit to Aaron Gordon over 23.5 PRA. You look at last game, finished with 19 PRA, by the way, played 23 minutes. I'm sure you've seen the game flow here, the rotations. Early foul trouble in the second quarter. He didn't play the remaining 10.5 minutes of the second quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, the starters come back out for a few minutes. The game is wildly out of reach. And then he's back on the bench. 23 minutes means nothing. He averaged 30 minutes per game on the season, averaged 26 points, rebounds, and assists on the season as well. And now you're in a spot where Aaron Gordon, if this game happens to be competitive, and I'm not going to project for a blowout here, probably plays upwards of what's the ceiling on minutes for Gordon? I'm thinking you could probably project him for 33, but I'm not sure what the ceiling is. All I'm saying is in 30 minutes, 26 PRA, Minnesota, 6th fastest paced team in the league. and he's already on his regular season average clearing this pretty easily.
Yeah, no, makes sense to me. And, last game, like you said, the minutes couldn't have been shorter, right? The game was as one-sided as we've seen any playoff game to be to this point. So at the very least, we're getting the same, but likely more minutes for Aaron Gordon. So I'm with you. I like the over there.
All right, that's 4 for 10x. Do you have something you like for the 20x for the Holy Grail? If so, let's go for it.
I would like to. The problem is so many of other projections are unders right now on the Memphis players, and they're just such sketchy lines because it's so much that's going into them. Right now we have Morant projected in. If Morant sits, all of these unders go to crap. If Morant plays and is limited, a lot of these unders are going to be going to crap. So I can't touch any of these Memphis lines, which currently project really well for us, but I understand it's because Morant is questionable.
Yeah, I think I probably lay off here. I was looking to see if they had Jaren Jackson rebounds under 8.5. I would take that happily. I loved that the other day. That's still out there in other spots too, the under 8.5 boards. But there's nothing that stands out. I think we stand pat with 10x. We go with the Vincent, with the Butler, with the Aaron Gordon, and we go with Austin Reeves. Right? Jordan, Austin Reeves over on assists, Butler over rebounds, Vincent over on points, and Gordon over on PRA. All overs. That's scary. But they all profile nicely. Let me just go back and see if there's any other good spots here or stuff that we could pay attention to in the event that some of these guys get ruled out. Like maybe it would be good now or even better if they're out. Sometimes you get that, but I don't see it. I don't see anything where you go, I would hit that anyway. But if Morant or Giannis end up being out, I love it.
Yeah, I like the one that's closest is, Jaren Jackson over 2.5 blocks. We have it projected for 3.2. But it's hard in this kind of format. Like I like the upside of Jaren Jackson Jr., but when you're talking about adding it as a fifth leg of a parlay, it becomes so tricky because how many times we see Jaren Jackson Jr. get into foul trouble 2 minutes into a game. And then all of a sudden, any overs you have with them are, blown. So nothing that I feel confident enough that I would add is another leg.
Yeah. The only other one I was looking at is under on Dylan Brooks, 21.5 PRA. But even so, not a spot I love.
Yeah. And then you run into the issue if Morant gets ruled out, that projects well above that.
Yeah. Right. Of course. I was just saying Dylan Brooks is the type of guy with nobody on the team could still finish with under 21 PRA, but it's not worth it right now. It's really not. There's still some other great spots that we should be hitting on. And if you guys like something else, throw in that fifth one for 20x. You ready to make a draft here? Ready to do a draft?
Yeah, let's draft the team.
All right, let's do a draft. And again, for those of you guys that are new to Underdog, links in the description and in chat, 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And our Bet Pro tool first week entirely free. Link is down there for that. That's going to get you everything, not just for Underdog, but for every sports book. All of the top bets, the projected win percentage, XROI for other sports books. Of course, you only need win percentage on Underdog. The S bet percentage, how much you're recommended to bet, our own projections, everything. And then it's just all sorted by the best bets. First week free. It's an awesome tool. We got it for basketball and now for baseball as well. But when it comes to today's draft, how big's the prize pool? What are we looking at?
And look at that. That's Jordan's neighbor right there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Wob. That's Jordan's neighbor. I've got him blocked on Twitter, but he's running the contest here. And Jordan,
did you block him?
Yeah, I find his tweets to be a little annoying, but neither here nor there.
All right, you blocked him or muted him? You went full out block?
I don't remember. I think I had him blocked, and then Eric said he's really nice because they met him, and I shouldn't block him. So I said, all right, I'll mute him.
Hey, he seems like a nice guy. He used to do the car chases. Remember that?
Yeah, those. So that's actually my favorite content of his.
Those were great. Do you remember why he stopped?
What happened?
The guy got just lit up on screen. Like the chase came to end and they just unloaded like seven.
Oh my God.
7 mags into him. Yeah. Then you didn't see them for a while. I think he still does them from time to time, but like replay style, not live because you don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, it was great chase.
You don't want to live stream a death on your Twitter page.
Right. Don't get me wrong. That was a great police chase. It's all the wild California police chases. $60K. Let's go. How much up top? 6K up top. All right. Make it happen.
As we're drafting or as we're waiting for the draft to fill here, we did get a couple people in chat are asking us just to read off the props again. So just going through the props that we had in that parlay, it was Gabe Vincent over 9.5 points. We had Jimmy Butler over 6 rebounds, Austin Reeves over 4 assists, and then we had Aaron Gordon for his over PRA. So those were the 4 legs that we had for that, for the people in chat who wanted us to recap what they were.
Yep. And Jordan threw it on the screen as well.
Yeah.
All right. We in business, Jordan?
We're about to be
4 picks away. Are we picking 4th or is someone already on? Oh yeah. No. Okay. We're 6th.
Yeah. 2 picks away.
It sucks on these small slates, man. All right. We're up, Greg.
Boy, this is so tricky now because it's like, all right, we got a quick reaction here. Do we build under the assumption that Giannis is in or out?
Well, the same thing goes with Morant. We only got 13 seconds.
All right. Let's
I think Jaren Jackson's a fine play regardless, but would you want to go Drew instead? Start, Jordan.
Yeah. Well, we have to pick 2. So let's go Triple J and Drew.
All right, let's do it. So here's the way Neil and I kind of approach this sometimes when you have crazy spots like this. It's a $5 entry.
Yeah.
So if we end up being right and both Giannis and Morant are out and we have Jaren Jackson and Drew, it looks pretty good. If not, you're down $5.
Yeah. And I do think, though, the first couple picks you make should probably inform the rest of your picks. So now we just maybe Jaren Jackson Jr. less so because he's good kind of regardless. Drew is in his own right, but there's more upside in our lineup. We just assume those guys are out and we make decisions based on that.
Absolutely. And to be fair, like that Drew ADP right there where he was listed is clearly under the assumption that Giannis is not going to play. Drew's not going that early otherwise, but we'll do this under the assumption that he's out. We're 6 picks away. We're going to have 2 more picks. We can't draft Morant even if he falls. I mean, I suppose you could, but how much do you think that hand is going to bother him? That concerns me too. Like even if he does play.
So that hand was also banged up last game prior to the fall. He already had it wrapped up. And it's not like he played particularly well before that either. You know, people forget because people are going nuts and talking about, oh my God, my overs on Morant lost because of the injury. He was kind of playing like crap before that. He played over 30 minutes in that game and only had 18 points and 2 assists. So he was on the struggle bus even before he got knocked out of that game. So I do really worry about his health right now.
Me too. I'm interested to see how far he falls.
Middleton just selected.
Yeah, that would have been nice to grab Middleton and Holiday. We keep an eye on Bobby Portis too.
Yeah, good call.
I don't know where, like, we're not drafting him now, of course, but I'm wondering if he falls, if we get good value on Portis, that could be huge.
Yeah, Bane just went, which is unfortunate. I was hoping that he would fall to us there.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go Brooks with our last pick.
So
he might go before that.
Portis is an option. This feels kind of early to draft Bobby Portis, though.
I thought the same thing. Scroll up, Jordan. Scroll up. We might have to go Portis here.
Portis, Reeves, and then who else? Yeah, just go Portis for now. I feel like that's a bad pick, but whatever.
What about MPJ?
I'd rather go with Mike. It's funny. So, like on one hand, the props for Austin Reeves, like his over/under is only 4 was only 4 assists, and it seemed like his prop numbers are low. But then it's like he's got a higher ADP than Michael Porter Jr. Michael Porter Jr. has been a better fantasy producer for the entire season. Yeah, go Porter.
Yeah, let's go Michael Porter Jr. It's a good matchup. It's a good spot. They're big home favorites. I like MPJ quite a bit there. I would have loved to have like in these drafts where you have 3 games, having that 6th pick is kind of difficult. It's not to say that you can't get good picks, but the tier drop offs are significant, like real significant.
Yeah, especially when we have. By the way, what pick did Morant end up going at? I'm just curiosity here. So Morant goes
3, 4, 16th.
Yeah, so he actually went after Desmond Bain, and what Giannis went pick 5, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean, I love the Giannis I love the Giannis 5. If Giannis fell to us at 6, we're 100% building our lineup around the assumption that he's playing, and we're drafting him 6th.
So the other thing we could have done is kind of like the inverse of what we did. If he was still there, we could have gone like Giannis and Morant on the same team
For
at
sure.
the at the
We
turn
do
pick.
that a lot on this show. We'll do 2 drafts and then play one of them for him being like a couple key players being out and one for them being in. And you know, $5 entries, you could do something worse than that.
Dylan Brooks might not make it to our next pick, by the way.
I don't think he's gonna. He might. People hate Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, myself included. But I ended up playing
too.
a lot in fantasy. I don't like this. I love this Memphis Grizzlies team a couple of years ago. I hate them now.
Like the players or the way they're built, constructed.
The players. They were this upstart, really likable team to me.
I know.
And then they just became really annoying.
That happens all the time. And they haven't even won anything yet.
So Brooks is off the board.
I do not want to go. Oh, Rui's gone too. Oh, this is ugly. That's a huge drop off there. I mean, you could go Grayson Allen under the assumption that.
Yeah, let's take Grayson Allen.
Take Allen under the assumption that Giannis sits. You could get big minutes for him today. Also, Wes Matthews is doubtful. So that's not a lot of minutes, but 18, 20 minutes that you could lose off of the rotation.
I don't think Lowry is a bad pick here. Lowry's had a lot of upside in the playoffs, and there is no Tyler Hero.
Yeah, let's play Lowry in the event that he happens to have one of those good games.
Which he had, 2 games ago. He had
huge.
The play-in game, he puts up 19 points in the first half, which was like 50% of the Heat's total points in that game, and he finished with over 30.
Yeah, he was great. It is always possible that Gabe Vincent, I mean, for the sake of our card, I hope this isn't the case, but there is always a possibility that Lowry just plays well and Gabe Vincent doesn't.
Yeah, they could also share the court together, particularly because there's no Hero. So,
and Vincent's play was through some nagging injuries himself too. Let's not forget, just a couple games ago, he left early. He's been questionable / probable for like weeks now. So, yeah. All right, we're done, Jordan.
Yeah. Do we have one more pick or are we done?
We're done.
Okay. So I'm kind of curious now that this is done. Where did Brook? Oh, I guess we closed. I was just going to look at some of those Bucks players, just where they ended up going, as like a little bit of a recap, because I know that Brook Lopez he must have been off the board fairly early because he was never somebody we were really ever able to contemplate. But just kind of found it interesting to look at like where people were trying to target some of these players in the uncertain scenarios.
But how much of that also changes depending on where a player goes first? Like how much of a snowball effect is there if one person ends up having, I'm just thinking it's not as much like football, of course, where you're talking stacking and stuff and you're drafting for best ball in the NFL, where if you grab someone, it's possible that, one of the receiver and you have a quarterback and you have a top receiver. It's possible that the other receiver might go a little bit later. But in NBA, I'm not sure. I wonder if there's any correlation between like where some of these injured guys get drafted and then where their teammates get drafted after them.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I also think, I do think there's certain people who like, oh my God, they'll see the Bucks players going early. They'll panic. Like, I need Bucks players. Other people are drafting Bucks players. And that could also have an influence. By the way, in chat, Zach M says he wants to try this out. Pretty easy. You sign up clicking on the link we have below. You get up to $100 bonus and you enter some of these contests. There's also best ball contests they run like throughout the entirety of the playoffs. So yeah, there's a lot going on UnderDog.
A ton. And I mean, I can't wait till NFL comes back, man.
You gonna be doing a lot of best ball for NFL this year?
I plan on it. I didn't do a ton last year. I just was so busy that I couldn't find the time to rip off like, it can be time consuming if you're someone that's maxing out these 150s, but I was doing them whenever I got around to it. Yeah. They're fun. They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I know that they have contests that I'm not sure if they've launched yet or they are about to. I haven't checked, but with the NFL draft coming up, I know it's something we're working on, planning some draft content right now. Matt Kajeski, best in business. Nobody knows more about the NFL draft and NFL in general than Matt G. Guys scouting Pee Wee football games, making sure he's ahead of the curve with all the up and coming scouts. So yeah, we've got some draft content that's going to be coming down the pipe, and a lot of that is going to tie into some of the content for best ball over at Underdog.
When I saw that message about like, hey, we're looking to do Underdog, we're looking to do an Underdog draft, like live draft thing. And I went to respond. I pulled up to the grocery store and I looked at it and I already saw that you and Eric had already gone, yeah, just where's Matt Gajeski? So
Yeah.
It's an obvious one. I'm definitely going to tune into that for sure. I could get brushed up on a little bit of draft stuff. That's going to help you a ton, especially going in. That's like when people are doing these drafts pre-draft, because sometimes you find crazy stuff like that. It's so difficult because a great guy that profiles super well could end up on a team that just doesn't look good for him. He's behind the top running back or behind the top receiver, and it takes time to get him matured or work him into the system. Or you have a guy that doesn't look all that great, but then he just lands in a spot where he's immediately the RB1. You know what I mean? Like Dameon Pierce last year.
Yeah, and then I know because this is like the only draft name I really know based on people debating him on Twitter, but like what people are going to do with Bijan Robinson, because it seems like he's somebody people are going to be taking like top 5 in best ball drafts this year, kind of like regardless of where he ends up landing. So I'll be interested to see what Kajeski has to say about him as well.
Guy's going to be a stud, but man, people are talking about the Eagles should draft him 10th overall running back. It just hasn't worked out great in the past for teams who have gone that route. That's all I'm saying. I know he's dominant. He's amazing. I think the Eagles should trade back, but maybe you're right. Like any team that has him. Breece Hall, you saw Breece Hall, dude. That guy, it's such a shame he got hurt. What a absolute stud he was after they finally started giving him the ball a few games into the season. And that wasn't exactly on a prolific offense. You had Joe Flacco or Zach Wilson
Yeah.
leading the charge. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Man, if we're doing Underdog NFL drafts, that'll be fun. We should definitely do some, like we did them last year. We did some best ball drafts. That's fun. Plus, they're a lot longer than 6 rounds.
Yeah, I think we're going to be doing that in the near future.
All right, guys. And if you have any questions, DM us, hit us up, whether it's in our chalkboard. Greg and I are in there all the time. It's been so much fun and you got people posting like Underdog lineups, traditional sports betting, you name it, DFS lineups. Like have you noticed the insane blend of everything that goes on in there every day? It's pretty awesome, man. And it's free.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Totally free. It's free to download the app, free to get into our channel. So go check it out.
I already threw like 4 or 5 picks in there for today. You've been throwing them in multiple sports for today. The app, you can sync all your sports books up to, and you can use it for the box scores are built in for all the games. It'll always be free, not a week or whatever. It'll always be free. Come join the family, man. We've had a blast doing that. And we look forward to doing a lot more of these in the future, especially once football rolls around. So we'll see you guys soon. Follow Greg at G Ehrenberg DFS on Twitter, me at Laffy _D. And as always, shout out to Jordan Klein for producing this one. Peace.